Well, to speak more on this, I'm joined now by Olamilekan, political affairs analyst. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, this is, of course, not the first time aspirants will be coming together to sign peace pacts. But do you think the signing of this peace pact is binding enough to prevent electoral violence in the upcoming polls?
Thank you very much for having me, TV 360. I'm very glad to speak on this particular issue. Let us first establish that the peace pact we are witnessing today has been a trend that became so popular in Nigeria electoral process in 2015. Then 2019, it also became so popular. And other African countries have also copied and be able to implement this, like Kenya, last election, as well as Angola. But the key thing is this, which I'm going to draw out from a political economy lens. The peace pact signing is more of elitist process to prevent electoral violence in our electoral process in 2023. It doesn't trickle down to the foot soldiers of these political gladiators who may end up being the people who carry the burden of violence in the election. Let me paint a scenario here. Are you with me?
Go ahead, please.
Let me paint a scenario here. We have 5 stages of where we can identify who and who commit atrocity during election. We have the political gladiators, the candidates themselves. We have their political parties. We have their associates, who could be NGOs or CSO. Then we have traditional rulers and religious leaders. Then we also have the foot soldiers. Now, out of these 5 units I've pointed out, you can see the candidate is on his own. Whatever the candidate says now in this period of pre-election, post-election, or during the election itself, constitutes what the downtrodden, the last part of what I've painted, the foot soldiers normally do, or his associates, or his friends, or people who have shared likeness for him. So the peace pact doesn't bind those set of people not to carry out, doesn't have an effect on those set of people not to carry out the kind of malpractice or the kind of violence they normally witness in election. But the gladiators, as we see today, may not carry arms, may not carry guns, may not carry cutlass, but they may have the means to get it for the foot soldiers who are on the ladder of bottom ladder of what are painted. That means the foot soldiers who doesn't know anything, who are more gullible, who are not educated, who doesn't know the essence of peace in society. So the peace signing accord is good as far as it's an elitist form of operation or process of election, but it doesn't keep the violence away from the foot soldiers who end up carrying out this violence at the end of the day. So what should we build the way out for this? That's what we're looking at in 2023 election.
Now, I'd like you to give a response to the last question you asked. What do you think is the solution to this? Because you've mentioned the fact that the foot soldiers are usually the ones who take up arms and cause violence during elections. So what must be done to ensure that the significance or the importance of this peace pact is trickled down to the grassroots?
Although it has already been signed, I wish it can be reviewed in the sense that it is not just the gladiators that will be signing. Traditional rulers or domiciled communities who we have identified as flashpoints because they are flashpoints of violence in election period. So those identified flashpoints of violence in election period, can we identify the religious leaders? Can we identify the traditional leaders? Can we identify the youth leaders in those areas, in those flashpoints? Let them also go into signing of peace pact with the people of their community and themselves. Then the political parties, not just political parties at the national level. What about their ward level? What about their local government level? Because whatever is going to transfer or transform into violence during elections will come from the grassroots level. So the signing is top-bottom, which I consider as a signing of peace pact. But the bottom of it all must also be in pact with each other. What I'm trying to say is that if we have identified flashpoints where violence will take place, let them also sign peace pact among themselves with the people. What about the NURC members, which we know they are readily foot soldiers for violence of election? What about Akada riders? What about unemployed youth organizations, unemployed individual or youth who constitute themselves as organizations that will be supporting one candidate or the other, who are shared love for each of the candidates that may not be happy if their candidate lose? Can we have opportunity for them to also sign peace pact among themselves? That is the way forward. That's what I see. But we just hope the security agency will be able to do more and be able to identify flashpoints at this point in time and begin to address some of the things that we see or we think will happen during election 2023.
Well, indeed, Olamilekan, political affairs analyst, thank you very much for your time and your contribution.